All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the live well this Thursday night here at North Georgia, North Georgia. Good Lord, it's been a long day. Hope you guys are doing well, and so glad you guys could stop by. I got a great show for you guys tonight. Very interesting show, a topic we definitely don't cover near enough because nobody wants to talk about it. But I've got a gentleman on here, and we're going to talk about catching largemouth bass on Lake Lanier. All right, we know they're there, but a lot of us don't know how to do it. So hopefully our guest Wyatt Martin tonight can kind of give us a few tips to do that. Father Time's in the house as well. What's going on, everybody, in the comment section? Let me go ahead and take care of some business first, as we always do. Got something real quick that's going to happen Saturday. This one got thrown on me yesterday. Come on, pull it up. There we go. Now, Norman Lee, he is a guide up in Cleveland, Tennessee at, let me make sure I read this right, Fishtails Bait and Tackle this Saturday. They're having their Customer Appreciation Day, but everything they do is to benefit autism anglers. It's an organization that Norman Lee is real into, and he wanted me to just throw that out there. They're going to have a raffle at 2 o'clock. You can kind of see some of the stuff there. If you're interested in buying raffle tickets and you're not going to be in the Cleveland, Tennessee area, you can get him at 863-260-3474. So he asked me if I would share that with you guys, and I said, absolutely, I would. And of course, hey, you guys, especially in the kayak world, we're thinking about our buddy. Come on, computer. There we go. John Wilson. They're going to throw a benefit kayak tournament supporting him and his family. It's going to run the entire month of June 1st through June 30th. Again, John, of course, you guys heard, lost his daughter and his granddaughter in a automobile accident the other day. And he's hanging in there. We're staying in touch with him, but this is going to benefit him and his family. So you guys definitely, if you're in the kayak game, hey, jump in there. And even if you're not, enter it, and that money will still go to John and his family. So we appreciate all the kayak guys putting that thing on right there. And then, of course, now, hey, Father's Day weekend. Okay, the Georgia Outdoor Festival and Expo, June 20th through 21st at Cherokee Veterans Park. Cherokee County Park and Rec, along with Black Sheep Promotions, is putting on this 2-day event that is absolutely free to the public. It's going to have live music, food vendors, outdoor gear and experiences, guest speakers, seminars. Hey, if you've got an outdoor business and you want to go set up shop there, hit me up. I'll get you 25% off your booth fee. But it's going to be a really cool event. And Cherokee County Park and Rec, the more I'm talking to these guys, the more they're really, really, really wanting to push the outdoor space here in Georgia. And I had another one for Fishers of Hope. They got another benefit tournament coming up on Notley, June 13th. If Tony's watching, buddy, I apologize. For some reason, I deleted the image that you sent me the other day, so you need to get me another one going. But I'll be fishing with Robert Blesky on that. We're going to go up there and take you guys money for sure. So what's going on, everybody over there in the comment section? You guys over there on TikTok, Mr. Wyatt Martin. Listen, I met this fella for the first time Saturday, and of course he has joined one of the many that has taken my money in a fishing tournament. But first of all, dude, you are one big human being. How big are you?
6'6", 6'7", weigh about 340.
Yeah, you're a big dude. So what I want to make sure we do is that you have a very good time tonight, and I keep you on my good side. Because, dude, I wouldn't hit you with my truck. So, but anyway, he's. I guess you were telling us before the show, kind of raised on Lake Lanier, fish it. You fish all over the place, but Lake Lanier is near and dear to your heart, and you got a lot of experience on it. You said something about, I believe, your dad fished tournaments there, or in the 90s and all that as well. Am I right with that? Grandfather. Okay. Yeah, there we go. And Eric's going to fish with Tony on 13th on Notley. Well, there you go. We're going to take your money there, Eric. But so let me just kind of throw this guy's, out there to you. Coming up, we fished last Saturday out of War Hill. Fishing for me was tough. We had 15 pounds, and that was about it. A lot of guys were chasing the spots. The spots were kind of they were really finicky, hard to get. And this cat right here, he had 5 alive for what it ended up being.
2146, I believe.
2146. And listen, I've been doing this podcast, and we've been kind of on Lake Lanier here now for the last 7.5 years. I can only think of a handful of times that somebody had a sack that was predominantly largemouth on Lanier. Most of the time, you got 2 or 3 good spots, 2 or 3 good largemouth. But this guy had all 5. And so we're going to pick his brain tonight on how he did it, um, and what to look for. He goes, dang, I bet that live scope really hurts his neck right there. Now, I don't know. Was you scoping any at all these? I don't think you was with what you were throwing, were you?
Didn't even have it turned on.
Yeah, this was Cranking the Yank, and you're going to like this episode. Because yeah, he didn't have it. I believe let's just go ahead and jump right into it. I know you were teasing me in the parking lot at the weigh-in because you were telling me that you caught some on a Whopper Plopper and stuff, and I was like, "No, you're lying out your rear end." You go, "No, I swear, Danny, it's Whopper Ploppers and all that." And I was like, "But it is a good bag, Adam W. Fishing." So, all right, let's just talk about last Saturday, and then we'll kind of go on into this. Right here, War Eagle the best, 100%, unreal, and all largemouth sack on Lake Lanier. And then Christy, I guess this is some of your people. We love you, Wyatt, Christy, Shane, and E. Like that. Hey, appreciate you joining us tonight.
Uncle.
We as your uncle. There you go. And real
Mm-hmm.
quick before we get talking, yeah, huge shout out to Emil Wagner, currently sitting in first in the elites over there on Murray. And we hope he brings it home. I love me some Emil Wagner right there. He's one of the good ones, been on the show, great friend of the show. Okay, so let's jump back last Saturday. First of all, I want to going into that tournament. Was that your plan? You were going to go hunt largemouth?
Yeah, yeah. I had a couple days before, I went south and tried to do the spot deal, and of course, about a week before that, I was catching some really nice spots, but a lot of those spots had moved backed out because of their post spawn and getting on brush piles and stuff, and seen a lot of fish down there. But I caught three pretty good sized fish, but I never could you know find something that I was confident in. And I usually about this time of the year, and it's really worked for me the last 5 or 6 years, really starting back in about 2019, 2020. I can run up the river in certain places and find these fish that are feeding on gizzard shad, and
Mm-hmm.
they were they were in a spot to where on Monday I found them, and got three really nice bites. This was Monday before the tournament, and the way the weather was setting up, and Mother Nature really helped me out. I got to give kudos to that, because Monday and all that week last week we had a lot of cloudy weather and wind, and if we would have had sun last Sunday, I don't know if I would have caught them the same way.
Mm.
Um, they were still there, and I told myself going into it, if I can stay here and in this area all day and catch what bites, I can win this tournament. And they were there.
Yeah, the heck they were there. Cranking Yankee said he was referring to his height too. Yeah, yeah. If he's looking down at the screen, Cranking Yankee, he is looking down a long way. Um, okay, so little pre-fishing, you kind of knew that bite might be there. Um, and from past experience, this area. Before we get into this specific area on Lake Lanier, how many areas, both north and south? I mean, you mentioned you can catch good largemouth on the south end,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of in your run, so to speak, or in your experience, are there some really like more multiple areas on the lake that are largemouth dominant? You can catch them there.
Yeah, there's a couple places up north I know that I can go to, that if they're biting, I won't bring a spot in to a weigh in.
Yeah,
And sometimes you'll catch spots in those areas, but they're not going to be big.
right.
But I like to keep the boat in the dirt. That's my favorite spot to keep it in. And but the biggest key to it as well is boat position and knowing where to cast and how to cast. And I think that's what really helped me out the other day. But yeah, answering your question, there's some places up, and when I say up, I mean north of Gaines Marina and up in that area, that you can find them this time of the year, and it'd be pretty dominant.
You think is it more effective up the hooch than it is Chestatee, or about the same?
You know, I've spent more time probably on the hooch than I have the Chestatee. I have caught them on the Chestatee, but I seem like I do better over there in like March and April.
Okay.
To me, it seems like the Chestatee warms up faster than the hooch does.
Yeah.
And I can go up there. I can do really good on a buzz bait, double blade buzz bait. But that Whopper Plopper, man, I'm telling you, it's if it's but here's the thing. It's got to be right weather, and my type of weather is overcast. So if it's
Yeah.
over there, I can find them.
In the dirt. That's a saying that Tim and his partner Justin Reynolds kind of coined on this show 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. They've experienced that. Now let me, before I get to Memphis, before I get to your thing, let me go ahead and pull this one up. Is this your mama?
Mm-hmm.
Why I am so proud of you. Fish was the first word that you spoke. You have loved it from the moment. From that moment, hold 'em hook. There you go. I like it.
Yeah. Oh
I
yes.
like it.
Been
Well, Miss Martin, we're glad you have stopped by. We hope we don't scare you off before the evening is over with. Memphis Brock wants to know: have you ever gone past the Olympic Park?
Yeah, yeah. I tell you what, when the water's up, I mean, I've gone as far as some people don't want to.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like right now, I wouldn't go through the. If you know what I'm talking about, Danny, you go past a certain bridge, Clark's Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
If you go right now, I wouldn't go past the S turn up there because there's still some standing timber and boulders and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
when the water's up, I'm telling you, especially this time of the year, and I've even seen it all the way into August. They'll you'll see bluegill spawning up there, and
Mm.
got on a very good bite, especially from Don Carter in that area. Working your way back down.
I got you. I love it. I love it right there. This is a good question from Messick because you mentioned you knew they were feeding on gizzard shad. How do you determine that? I mean, what was telling you that gizzard
Man,
shad is you just saw it or what?
pulled Monday when I went. I caught a 5.5 pounder and pulled an 8-inch gizzard shad out of the back of the throat.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
8-inch gizzard shad. Yeah, that might kind of make me think they might be on it.
Well, and something else that people don't know. Well, I mean, people know they're in the lake, but I I found a fish spit one up 2 years ago in my boat, and I've got a certain crankbait that resembles this, but there's a lot of yellow perch in Lanier.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of yellow perch, and those big largemouth will feed on those yellow perch.
Guys, he's dropping some juice tonight. You Lanier guys, you better be listening to this. You know, it's funny you said perch, and of course you're talking about up yonder way. I
Mm-hmm.
remember Kevin Underwood getting on some yellow perch down on the south end in like 60 foot of water.
Yeah.
Big ones, just
Oh
big
yeah.
ones. So it's kind of crazy. They're north and south, and a lot of people don't think about it.
Yeah, and I've also caught some bass up there that will have a catfish stuck in their throat too.
I'm gonna have me a catfish lure on this weekend like that. Hey, let me ask you just when you go up
Mm.
that far, you ever run into any shoal bass, or is that still a little bit farther on up?
Yeah, that's a little far. I haven't personally caught a shoal bass yet.
Yeah.
Got a buddy of mine that has. He caught one up there not too long ago on a rock crawler. But they're occasionally you'll see them, but very most are up there in the rapids.
I got you like that. Shout out to the Spro Rock Crawler, best crankbait ever made, in my opinion. But that's just me. Wyatt, how would you approach a brim spawn? Mr. Coleman wants to know.
Well, I would really start looking at your moon phase. This next month coming, and that full moon. From your nighttime. I mean, I tell you, I've in places where bluegill spawn, I've done really good at night, and especially at nighttime. Um, Getting into June, July, places like that, and August too. August, I've seen a bluegill spawn in August up there a few times, but this next month will really be strong for that. But backs of pockets, places where pea gravel, stuff like that. Buzz bait early in the morning, Whopper Plopper. Um, there's a people are afraid to throw it, but I like throwing a frog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said you had one of those on Saturday.
I did.
Yeah, and all that. But hey, real quick, Kevin, you fish a lot of night tournaments,
Yes.
and now you listen to this bluegill beds, the bluegill spawn being really good for him during a night tournament. Have you thought about that?
Not at all.
I hadn't either. That's a little bit different.
Now, that's odd because I beat the banks. You know me.
I
Yeah,
know.
I think over time it may be just me running into them, but I will say this, there has to be light nearby.
Yeah.
A lot of largemouth, even up there. I mean, you're not going to see the amount of green lights on the north end as you do south.
Mm-hmm.
But I always seem to when I get close to a green light or in those areas, when bluegill spawn, you can smell them, spawning.
Oh
And
yeah.
I've caught fish around green lights before and have them spit up bluegill, nearby, and it's really shallow.
I'm going to ask this for me because I'm selfish and I want to know. All right, nighttime. How do you attack them? How do you attack a brim bed at night? Just out of curiosity.
Black buzz bait,
So you're going top water at night on it.
black buzz bait, or a black and blue spinner bait up
Yeah.
in the dirt.
Okay. In the dirt. There you go, Tim Wyatt. Right
Yeah,
up your alley right there. Messick says, well, that'll do it right there. He was the one asking about the gizzard shad and all that. So yeah, hell yeah, if they're jumping out, 8 inch in there, whatever, for
yeah,
sure. Farmer's in the house. Farmer, of course, loves largemouth, so he's here for the lip talk. So right up your alley tonight. Now, you got some family or some friends in Texas? Because your
yeah.
Texas fans think you are the best. Stephanie Stewart Brawley.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend's. That's her son's grandfather. He lives out in Texas. He came a couple weeks ago and stayed with us the whole week, and I took him out. And he, my girlfriend's 5-year-old, he got to watch him catch a couple magnum spots, eat a popar. So he enjoyed that, and we pretty much fished every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Appreciate you watching us tonight. Hey, listen, you can watch us at any time, and it just ain't because he's on here. You guys can come back every Tuesday and Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
But appreciate you jumping on tonight. Now, Memphis wants to know, how did yellow perch get in Lanier? Memphis, I ain't got a clue. I mean, I imagine they was probably. I doubt they was stocked. They was probably in the creeks or the rivers. Wouldn't
Probably,
you think? Yeah, just when it all filled up.
yeah.
Easton Huff. Let's see here. Oh, I pulled up the wrong one right here. Come on, Easton. My friend Caden loves Lake Lanier. He has a really nice Trenton boat. Yeah, listen. There's a lot of people love Lake Lanier, and it is. There's a lot of pros that will tell you, like Gussie. I don't know if you keep up with the elites and all that, but Gussie comes down here and he says it's his favorite lake.
I passed him the other day when I was up there.
He keeps sneaking down on here and not letting me know he's here. I'm gonna
Mm.
have to fuss at him about that. Crankin' and Yankin says, I approach a brim spawn with a cane pole, a cork, and some worms. Me too, boss. 100%. All right, we got to get this one out of the way. That come at Clayton Belmont every episode. Does Wyatt believe in Bigfoot?
Yes.
There you go. There you go. Have you ever seen a Bigfoot?
No, but I mean, is it real? I don't know, but there's a lot of world out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of land. Um, never say never, right?
Well, dude, you're big enough. If you threw on a gorilla suit and went through the woods, hell, I think.
Well, see, I got some property over here in Brazelton, and it backs up right up to 85. And I told my girlfriend a while back, I said we need to get some Bigfoot costumes and go stand on the side of 85. Everybody would believe Sasquatch lives in Brazelton.
Oh, they would. I mean, they would absolutely. They'd be all over the news. Channel 2 be up there covering it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Messick. Are you throwing big spinner baits at night when you're fishing for those, or what size do you prefer?
Yeah, I like throwing a big willow blade. That's what I mainly like, and those Georgia blades work perfectly. But you know, when I'm fishing for spots, of course, I'm going to, at night I'm fishing deeper and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. I'm up the river. I'm using a big one, about as big as you can get, and I'm up in the dirt, shallow, and just trying to literally have the boat within 6 foot or less.
Let me ask you this, just because I've noticed it. Do you get any of that snot grass or anything up the river? I haven't fished up the river in
It's working its
forever.
way up. It's working its way up. I mean,
Is it?
it ain't got there yet, but it's working its way up. You'll get it on a crankbait, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more Gaines Marina. It's starting to get towards Gaines Marina in that area.
I
Hey,
got
Danny,
you.
when he says a big spinnerbait, is he talking 3/4 ounce or
Yeah,
better, or
yeah, yeah.
and you like the willow leaf over a Colorado blade?
I do.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think for me, it's just I guess probably been more successful. But you know, not saying that the willow don't work. I mean, I think some nights it can produce, but something about the other one that just to me I've got more confidence in, and it's put more fish in the boat.
Okay, got you right there. All right. What's up, Joshua? Edward wants to know, because we kind of mentioned it, how we catching them on Seminole this weekend? If you were going to Seminole this weekend, what would you be doing?
Man, I have been down there. To be honest with you, I've never fished Seminole, but if I was going to go to Seminole, I would be trying to find some grass and try to find some kind of. I don't know if the shad spawns maybe already happened down there. It's more south. You know, a lot of times the shad spawn down there happen in the 1st of April into March because it gets warmer faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be targeting some kind of grass. I went to Oconee yesterday and there was a shad spawn in the grass, and it was big. So
I would, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say, I would say you'd be in the damn dirt.
yeah,
Just-
yeah.
yeah,
I'd be in the grass. I'd be throwing a swim jig or some kind of spinnerbait or flipping something.
that's right. All right, let's see. Got a lot of good questions. And guys, hey, throw these questions out. You make my job a lot easier when you guys are throwing them out. Have you tried a bluegill glide bait at night? And then Edward Folk, oh, yeah, okay, he had one on TikTok too. Same questions. Yeah. Bluegill glide bait. You mess with those?
No, but I throw this one at night. I have thrown this one at night.
Pull it right up a little bit closer to the camera right there.
Yeah, throw that through a green light, and if you're going to usually when you get bait, it's going to be on the first cast. But
Yeah.
I've caught some really solid 4. I mean, I've caught a 2.5, but I've caught a lot of 3s and 4s on this at night, and then last year I caught a 5 on it. Here lately, the green lights, I've just been catching stripers. The bass are weird at night right now. I don't know. I found one green light the other night. I was actually down towards Mid Lake fishing, and there was 4 largemouth on that light, and I think just about every one of them was probably 6 pounds or better. But I couldn't get them to connect. I wish I had live bait with me.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Let's pull this one up right here. Waylon ENT-E3. I wish they would just put people's names back up. YouTube messed it up when they did all that. We are so proud of you. You're living your dream. Waylon, Amy, and Randy.
Yeah, it's cousins. Randy, my cousin's husband, he used to be a pretty good hammer on Lanier back in the day.
There you go. I like it. You brought just everybody tonight. So we appreciate all you guys out there. Memphis Brock has got a tournament on Lake Chickamauga. Do you guys have any tips or advice? I've never been up there before. What time is it? How soon is it? I mean, that's going to determine. Are you fishing it like this month or August or when? Let us know that, and then we'll answer that question. Lisa says, talk about the bass you caught showing me.
Oh yeah, so we've got a green light on the dock. So we got a dock, and we just put a green light on it a week or so ago, and she was down there fishing, and there was bass up under it, and she had a tiny swim bait on, and she's sitting there, and I'm like, Mama, just give me the rod. I said, just drop it to the bottom. I said, a lot of them lay down on the bottom under the light. A lot of them ain't up there swimming. And I dropped it down and caught a 4.5 pounder right off the bat. And of course, tried to hand it to her, but she's like, no, go ahead and reel it in. But
Yeah.
thing was, the night before, she hung one that was probably 8 on that little crappie rod while they were crappie fishing. So
Yeah. That's generally when you hook them big ones. Like when
yeah.
you're not, I always say the best day I ever had on Latham over here was the day I went crappie fishing.
Well, it makes you wonder why sometimes we don't throw something that small.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of live scopers do, but even
I know I had it. I had a tournament that following weekend, and I had that little crappie jig and that Zebco 33 on my boat, and I tried it. Of course, I didn't bite it during the tournament and all that, but yeah, small baits sometimes they work. Now, Edward wants to know. He goes, "I'm not exactly sure on how to punch. Do you punch? What's your setup?"
Yeah, I'll use a 1/2 ounce. Texas rig, the bullet weight, like a bead, need a glass bead, but some kind of big creature bait, to try to get it to fall. But the biggest thing is your rod. You need a good rod. I like using a 710. I like a long rod. I want to be, because I'm a big guy. Because when I'm setting the hook, I can't hook too fast. If I set the hook too fast, I'll break off. I've broke a lot of fish because of my strength and stuff. But a good rod. If it's not a 710, I would go 7.2, 7.3. Somewhere right in there.
Yeah, he's got that Sasquatch strength, guys. We've been trying to tell you he's a big old dude. Messick says, I have got to learn that bite at night. I know nobody is throwing them on my lakes at night or a black buzzbait. He's up in South Carolina. Do you just slow roll that spinnerbait when you're throwing it?
Yeah, slow as you can. Slow. And sometimes when I'm slow reeling it, I'll speed it up real fast, and you'll get bit sometimes doing that. But most of the time, I'm just slow rolling.
Gotcha, right there. Bass Time with Diaz says, Wyatt, do you sling a jig? What's your favorite setup for a jig?
I do. I like throwing a jig in the wintertime a lot. Here the next month, a lot of times I will, especially when they stop eating the shad a lot, they'll go to a jig and stuff on the bottom. But I like the old-fashioned Gary Automoto spider jig.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, something that was old school.
Yeah, I like it.
On it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Texas, Patricia, what's going on? The Texas rig is the silent killer, 100%. All right, your mama wants you to talk about something else right here. What about the one you caught when you took my pole to show me at the dock?
I think that's the one I was just talking about.
Is that it? I say you took her. Yeah, he tried. He said he tried to hand it back to you like that. So, okay. Memphis said it's at the end of June on Chickamauga, so going to be a little warmer up there. You ever fished up there, Wyatt? I've only fished there a couple of times.
I'm gonna try to go up there this year. I want to go very badly, but if I was him, I'd probably have me some kind of square bill or some kind of frog tied on. Find me some grass. I love grass. So.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna talk about that frog bite here in a second. I will tell you this, Memphis, and a lot of the guides and a lot of guys that we know around here when we were going up, every single one of them told me the same thing. They all talked about frogs. They all talked about all these other different things, but they all said the same thing. Make sure you got a morning dawn worm, either on a drop shot, on a shaky head, whatever. And sure enough, that morning dawn does work up there. So that's just what all the guys around here told me. It worked for us. So
morning dawn is very important up the river at times in the summertime.
On Lanier?
Yes.
What do you think they see when you throw a morning dawn?
Night crawler, something in that certain aspect. I don't know, something in that range. I think to them it maybe helps when the water's a little bit dingier.
Yeah.
Me personally, I've had better luck on it when the water's a little dingier than it's clear. When it's clear, to me, I can't do as good. But up there, I can, especially if we get a lot of rain like we did today.
Yeah.
What water comes up, you know what that does? It puts the insects and stuff in the water, different worms and stuff like that. So you can take you can take a drop shot and throw it as shallow as you can and drag it back to the boat real slow, and you'll catch largemouth doing that.
I hope you guys are taking notes. Of course, I will apologize if this weekend you decide to go fishing and there's 428 boats up the river. All right, it'll wear off. It's only for a little bit. And I saw this question. Sorry, I missed it. War Eagle the best. What's your favorite Whopper Plopper color?
A little bit of black on the back, and then it's kind of got the shad color, little.
Yeah.
But this is a Berkeley Chopo, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
How they get all sophisticated, but yeah, that's it. I've got that one, and I've got another one that's white, and I kind of just go back and forth. And I will throw one at night. It's black.
Hold that thing back up for a second. Okay. I just got a glimpse of the pink or something like that. I thought you had something hanging off that back treble hook, some kind of secret. I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
No. That right there, that's what I caught him on last week.
I can't stand you, dude.
Yeah. Put a lot of fish.
Yeah, he was sitting there. I was like, "No, you didn't." He goes, "Yes, I did." I'm like, "No, man." What's up, Tim McGuire? Sitting down in Miami, having him some old fashions tonight. So, listen, you guys get your bail money ready. We might have to go down there and get him out. Cranking and Yanking says, I caught a 9-pound bass fishing out of my boat. I was so proud. 1 week later, my mom caught a 10-pound off her dock. I had to climb in the water and unwrap it from around the piling, but she got it. And listen, that's pretty awesome. Your mama catching a 10-pounder right there, like breaking double digits. Hey, what's your biggest bass? What largemouth bass? What?
11.4. It came,
11.4.
yeah, it came in a community pond in Houston, which is now a subdivision. But back then it was private. And me and the guy that ran the place, we went back there one day and I caught it on a square bill.
Okay, now let's see. Now you said Houston, the guy ran the place. Was you over at Chateau?
Nope. No, this place was down on the other side of Brazelton. So if you go through Houston,
Uh-huh.
now it's a big old subdivision.
All right. So my wife and I, huh?
It's actually a retirement community.
Okay. All right. But listen, you go out, I think it's 53
Mm-hmm.
from Brazelton to Winder. At some point, you pass a lake on your left that's full of lily pads. Do you know the lake I'm talking about? Look at you smiling. You know the lake I'm talking about. Now, of course, every time I've driven by there, I'm like, boy, I'd like to fish that lake. And the way, have you fished that lake?
Grew up fishing.
Just tell me what's in there because, buddy, I mean, every time I go by, I'm like, that's the bassiest looking lake I've ever seen.
Yeah, the only thing you need in that lake is a frog and a rat. That's all you need.
Speaking of which, if you answer the question of the night, I'm giving away a Spro Rat tonight. There you go. So,
Well,
perfect timing.
Yeah, that place has been there for years. My grandfather used to fish that place. And,
Yeah.
back in the day, and of course, there's chain pickerel in it. There's crappie, but yeah, I went down there one day. I had four bass and had 35 pounds.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean seriously, like you guys will know the lake I'm talking about if you've ever made that trip from Winder to Brazelton more than once because you can't miss it. It'll be on your right hand side coming back from Winder, and every time I see it, it looks like something Kevin you grew up fishing or something.
Yeah.
It's full of lily pads and stuff. It's crazy.
Thing is, though, you have to the best time to go there is in March and like end of February, early March, because see the dam broke on it except a couple years back. So in the summertime, the lily pads will get so tall, you literally have to, and I've done it, but you have to have a half ounce weight, and you have to go in there and like punch through that stuff, and that stuff's hard to get in because the water level is different now because the lily pads will get so much taller than the water level. But when the pads are up on top of the water, of course, like when they start to die off, that's the time to go over there.
All right, well, like you and I are friends now, so next time you go over there, let me know.
Yes, sir.
I mean, seriously, for 30 years, 30 years I've passed that lake going, boy, I'd like to fish that lake. Let's see here. Tracy Coker. Hey, and Tracy too, I meant to text you back the other day. I got your shaky heads ordered with Spro. I thought I had some in here, but I don't. So I had the football head ones. I got you some round ones coming. I was going to send you some football head ones, but I'm not going to do that. I got the round ones coming. But anyway, he says on chick, you need a frog, a shaky head with a Cinco, or a trick worm, morning dawn or red bug, square bill, and a jig. There you go. That sounds about right for sure. Wyatt, how'd you do on Oconee yesterday? I was up there. I was up the Appalachie.
Yeah, I spent 4 hours up north and didn't get a bite, and then I went south, and I mean south, and found some grass and started punching grass and started getting a few bites, and then caught some on a walking bait as well.
Okay, there you go.
And, by the way, spinnerbait was working pretty good.
Spinnerbait too. This is a really good question. And as much as I don't want to talk about the damn thing, we're going to talk about it. How do you stop that plopper from spinning in the water and twisting your line up? Which a lot of people have talked about, especially on the smaller sizes, getting line twist.
I throw mine on 20-pound Berkeley big game.
And you don't have any problem with twist?
Nope, not at all. No, and to be honest with you, I throw a lot of stuff on. I throw my walking baits on it too. I will throw sometimes a walking bait on braid at times, but I feel like me personally, when I throw it on that that mono, or excuse me, mono. I don't know if I said fluorocarbon, but mono is what I throw it on. When I'm reeling it in, the mono will kind of come out of the water to where it's not even close. Which I'm gonna tell you, big key. A lot of people think when you're throwing a Whopper Plopper, you have to reel that thing fast.
Mm-hmm.
I barely reel it. I mean, I'm slow rolling, slow, very slow. I don't stop it, but I'm reeling it very slow. And when they eat it's unbelievable.
All right. Do you ever have any problems with the hookup, keeping them pinned?
At times, but what I like to do is when they hit it, and it's hard to do because we all like to get excited and jerk the hook. I try to count to 4, and then I set the hook. Most time when I set the hook, I want to make sure that this Whopper Plopper, when I'm taking it out, it's literally in the back of their throat.
Yeah.
Or like in the roof. And which, of course, I had a few get off the other day, when I was fishing that tournament, which when they come up out of the water with their mouth open, all you got to do is raise your hand and say, hey, congratulations, y'all won. So,
yeah, absolutely. What do you think about that, Kevin? The way he works his plopper?
That's the first time I've heard it reeling that slow, but it makes sense because it floats to begin with.
Yep.
It's almost like the buzz bait that has little styrofoam balls on the end on your double buzzes. You can reel those super slow as well.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is either, but when you throw it out there, and I've learned this too with even throwing a pop R and a walking bait, when you throw that thing out there, let it sit there for a minute. Let the rain kind of calm down. I have got so many hits when you let the ring stop, and as soon as you move it, they'll inhale. It's almost like they come up to it and they're looking at it as soon as it hits the water.
It's really a top order walking bait as far as jerking it back and forth.
Yep.
You can jerk it, let it sit, jerk it, let it sit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's 100 ways to work it, and they're all wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
Does he put bigger split rings on it though from his hooks? Or are they straight out of the box?
I don't get off. Okay.
Those split rings look pretty good size.
Now, only thing I changed my hooks on was rock crawlers.
Really?
Yep.
What now? Are you just changing the size?
Yeah, size. But I also get my treble hook from Japan.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Okay. I got you right there. Patricia wants to know, do you fish bridges?
Yes.
You want to expound on that, or you want to just stay at the yes?
It's certain times of the year I do. But yes, I do. Like I said, the biggest thing that you just look for right now, what I did the other day, is rocks, clay, and wood. But early in the morning, if you can find it early in the morning, and if they're there, you can stay there all day.
Yeah, I like that. James was talking. Let's see. That might be Crestwind, Twin Lakes, and Houston. Big on the pickleball now. He's shaking his head. And an old dirty cracker. He knows what I'm talking about. I've always wanted to fish that Lake and Winder right there. I'm telling you.
I used to mess with them people in Crestwind. I used to post pictures on the Houston page because a lot of those guys used to come in my uncle's barbershop and just think their crap didn't stink. So I would catch fish out of Lanier and post it and be like, it was a great day in Twin Lakes.
That's great. I love it. I love it. Playing the game, the mental game right there. Ken says, I would rather have that Chapo than a frog. And we're going to talk about that frog. We are. I'm not going to let him get out of here without talking about that frog. Jason Fletcher says, he goes, I've been catching them pretty good on a Spro popping frog in the Navy SEAL color up the river, especially in the evenings. Absolutely. Tracy Coker, now this is cranking and yanking. I've heard several people do this. They use a swivel on that if they're having problems with the line twist on the plopper. He says, I use 17-pound mono, still turns in the water. Why not just use a buzz bait? Are they not basically hitting it for the same reason? And I've always thought that too, but if I'm being honest, there are some subtle differences in between the buzz bait and the plopper. But I think, Crank and Yankin, if you would try what Tracy Coker says, just use a swivel, you'll eliminate some of that. And I think Mikey Balls, when he was on here, talked about, or somebody talked about putting a swivel on their Chapos or something like that. For sure. Jason Fletcher, what gear ratio reel and action rod do you throw your Whopper Plopper on? And I apologize for not answering that question or asking that question already.
A 5-1 to 1, I think is what it is. I like slow on my reel, but 7 foot medium heavy.
Okay, there you go. Josh Bennett, when is the yellow perch pattern most effective? And do you ever fish Alatoona?
Nope, never been to Alatoona. I want to though. I need to go over there sometime. I keep seeing these smallmouth to get being, but no, I haven't fished it. But now the yellow perch, it's funny, because yellow perch here, they don't spawn until February, March when they usually spawn. But I have had them spit up yellow perch in my boat in the summertime, and I've had them spit up yellow perch in January. And I don't know if they're chasing them up, because I'll give a little juice. A lot of places that I fish are bluffy.
Oh, I love that. I love bluffy.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
yeah.
You guys, listen, take notes. Take notes right there.
Yeah, here in a few months, this right here will become very important.
What is that?
That is
Norman.
Yeah, that runs about 16, 15, 16 foot, maybe 17. But summertime, wind blowing in certain areas when you can get it down there. I mean, of course, shallow to near deep. That's where I like it.
And you say that's a summertime pattern?
Summertime and wintertime.
And wintertime.
Yes.
Listen, that's something I need to go with somebody that does that, because I have about as much confidence in throwing a deep crankbait like that. I have zero confidence, really.
Yeah. Well, and seeing the thing is, some days you're gonna get skin up, but I've gone up there and caught 2 fish, and they be, 4.5, 5.5 pounds.
I love it. I love it right there. Live from California, Ken Pruitt is in the house, buddy. We miss you, dude. Come home. All right. Interesting question here from War Eagle the Best, especially since you're up the rivers a little bit. Do you ever catch any mystery fish like walleye on Lanier, and how often?
No, I haven't caught one, but there's been 2 put in my boat from other people. Crankbaits.
What time of the year?
One was caught in May and one was caught in December.
Okay. And the reason I asked that was I had one of the first podcasts I ever did was with oh good grief, WSB fella. Who's the old guy from Atlanta? Comes on Saturday mornings. O'Neal Williams. Sorry.
Williams.
Yeah, I just had a brain fart. And on that podcast, he was saying if you go on the full moon in February, if you go as far up the Chattahoochee, up Lake Lanier as you can, the walleye will be running and spawning up there. That's what O'Neal said. I mean,
that's when they spawn. When I worked for DNR for a couple of years, we had to go up and shock them to take them down to spawn them down at the hatchery, and we went up in the rapids up there, and I'm talking about like Belton, Lula, and that place. But we shocked up some walleye that were pretty massive.
See, there you go. I hope that answered your question. Crank and Yankin, I agree with you. If it needs a swivel, the lure needs to come with a swivel right there. Tracy says, I use a 40-pound swivel with a 30-pound snap hook. Haven't had any issues with line twist or breaking off any fish. And I know you're hard-headed, Crank and Yankin, 100%. And he also says Norman are some of the best cranks made. And James Collins is actually staying up past his bedtime to join us tonight. So how are you, James? All right. We've talked about that plopper enough. I want to know about the frogs. I really do, because number one, I'm, selfishly, I'm inexperienced when it comes to frogs. I know there's some guys around here that throw them. One guy that fishes electric only in my mind, Justin Reynolds. I know he used to throw them a lot. We had Rob Jordan on here. He talked about throwing a frog on Lanier, but he really talked more about spots and all that. But he was saying, that was the night he said, I asked him what color. He said black, and if that ain't working, throw black, and if that ain't working, throw black. Let's just kind of break down a frog bite on Lake Lanier. What are we looking for? What are we throwing it on? How are we working it? Let's just drop it all as much as you can without giving up your juice.
Yeah, no, you're good. It really works it really works good when those fish are getting ready to spawn or moving back in those pockets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've throwed it over a bed and got crushed many times, like April and times like that, into March, April and stuff. But like right now, if you can find areas that have poling on the top of the water and boat docks, I mean, I love taking a frog and skipping it up under a boat dock.
Yeah.
You'll get hammered. I've caught some spots doing it too, but that's what I like to key on: poling, back of pockets, places like that, in between the docks, under the walkways, stuff like that, is where I normally get bit on a frog. And if I could get back in somewhere where I can cast over some wood and stuff like that, where another bait can't, I've caught them in there. Last year I was up Chestatee and went in the very back. I mean, as far as you can go. And there was 2 blowdowns, and I threw it on the bank and drug it in, and 6'2".
Largemouth.
Largemouth, yeah.
What are you throwing it on?
85-pound braid.
85-pound braid.
Yeah. On a 7'2", I think it's on, but it's got to be heavy.
Got to be heavy.
I like to lock my reel. No drag. When that fish hits, I'm either gonna break a rod or get him in.
Okay, I like that. But let me ask you this: do you still employ the same technique of waiting a little bit on a frog? Yeah. Okay, so you're still counting down a little bit in your head.
Yeah, I throw that frog and it either hits the bank or hits the water. I'm gonna let it sit there for 40 seconds, and then I'll just pop it, sit there, pop it, because I've had them come out from under the dock and look at it, and then slap at it, and then you let it sit there for a little bit. And I mean, I've had people in the boat be like, what are you doing? You're wasting time. I'm like, no, just watch. Pop it again, and they'll come up and just knock the heck out of it.
So you're throwing a popping frog mostly?
Yeah, popping frog, and then sometimes I'll throw what was it, hollow body or the other. And that's easier to bring over stuff. But yeah, most of the time it's a popping frog.
Okay, what brand popping frog?
Pro.
I like it. There you go.
Yeah.
Cranking, yanking, one of that. Hey, listen, shout out to my sponsors right there. I love Spro. Are you cutting a skirt or bending the hooks or doing anything? I am terrible at frog fishing, and cranking and yanking, I understand that too. And lots of times when we have people on and they start talking about frogs, you're right. They talk about boiling them and then bending the hooks out, all these little things to make it softer, whatever. I remember Justin Reynolds would cut one side, and Tim White, if you're still watching, you can correct me on this. Seemed like he would take one side of the skirt leg of the leg part, and he would cut that one short so that his frog, and I think this might have been more with the hollow bodied frog, would get more of a sideways kick kind of to it. Little things like that. Do you mess with any of that?
I'll trim the whatever that stuff's called, the tentacle. Mm-hmm. I'll trim them a little bit, but that's about it. I don't really do nothing else. I mean, when the way I'm fishing it, I'm not really walking it or anything like that. I'm just, when I throw it out there, I'm popping it, letting it sit there, pop it, sit there. I mean, my frog will kind of go, it'll go this way. And if I pop it the other way, it'll go that way.
So you mentioned earlier in the show about boat positioning and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Tony Watkins. He sent me a new Fishers of Hope thing. I'm sorry for losing it, buddy. He just sent that to me right then. Boat positioning on a dock. Let's just say you're coming up to a dock. You got that popping frog. I don't know. You can whatever time of day, it doesn't really matter. But how are you approaching a dock? Are you hitting it outside and then skipping it, or are you just going right up under it?
Yeah, I'm gonna make every cast that I can possibly make. First, when I come up on the side, well, first of all, if there's a pontoon, I'm gonna try to skip it up front of the pontoon.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them blow up on it, but I can hear it.
Yes.
And I've caught them doing that. I caught them at Hartwell doing that a while back. But skip it, as far as you can up under the boat and just pop it, and then of course after that, work my way to the back, do the cables, skip it as far as I can up under that. And that's I want to make sure that I've caught everything there,
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I do.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Let's just say you got one of them big girls come up and she shows herself, but she doesn't commit, and you see her go back down. Do you have a follow-up bait to your frog?
Wacky worm.
I knew it. I knew it. I love it. I love it. I kind of figured it.
Yeah, that or a fluke or a double fluke. I've done both.
Yeah, absolutely. Bottom Line Outdoors, appreciate you joining us tonight. What is the best bluegill profile swim bait that you know of?
If you go on Tackle Warehouse, you can find some from Japan that are pretty badass. I mean, they're really good. I personally don't have the money to buy some of those right now because some of them are, too. There's one right now that's like $200 that just looks really good. But um, I I got a good friend of mine that I call my uncle. I'll take him some of these glide baits and he'll paint them a certain color and make them look like a bluegill. And we're getting into that a little bit more, and I'm hoping some of that will work here down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken says California swim baits and glide baits are bigger than Alatoona bass, and I can believe that. That's pretty much where it all came from, right? California just kind of worked its way out here. That big game like that. Jason Fletcher says paralleling bluff walls up the river with a frog is phenomenal. There you go. Drew Patterson, what's going on, buddy? Do you trim one leg shorter than the other? Kind of like that's what I was talking about. Do you boil them at all? I usually let mine sit on the truck dash for a couple of days.
Hmm.
There you go.
Oh.
You just right out of the package, you ready to go?
That's it, yeah.
I got that. Joshua says tater hog angry gill. So there you go. So whoever asked that question, who was it? Bottom Line Outdoors. Joshua says tater hog angry gill. And Tony Watkins is in the house. That's all right, Tony. I'm just letting everybody know how this man just absolutely wore our butts out on Lanier Saturday with all these largemouth. All right, let's do this, Kevin. I'm going to ask him another question. But let's get ready for the question of the night. All right, so you kind of go ahead and prep your mind on that and everything.
Okay.
All right, your wacky worm. So you'll go up with the frog. You'll work that dock. Now, will you work the entire dock? Okay, let me say, will you work the entire dock if you see a big girl come up, or will you turn right around and go right at her with that wacky right there? Will you try to hit other spots of the dock to try to coax her out, or are you going right after it?
Most of the time, I'll continue to work it, just a little bit, and then I'll let her kind of. Sometimes, if I see one and she comes out, I'll go down to the next dock because I know she's already seen me too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go back with a wacky worm to see if I can catch her, and sometimes I will, sometimes you won't. But yes, I'll turn right back around a couple minutes later and go back.
All right, yeah. And Tony said, "Beautiful sack, congrats," and all that. Yeah, I hope somebody pulls out a sack like that up on Notley. That would be impressive. Adam W. Fishing, you're going to be the last question before the question of the night. We'll go ahead and get this one out of the way, and then we will do our question of the night. All right, do you ever throw the magic swimmer?
No, I've got a couple. Other than this one, I've got a couple that I have got a buddy of mine that's painted and made. That's kind of like a bull shad.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't throw that, I'll throw a mag draft. I've caught a few fish on the mag draft, and I know a lot of guys have. But to be honest with you, I've just now really got into swim bait fishing within the last year, so I'm still learning the whole swim deck deal. But after what I've been catching here lately and what I have caught, I'm going to be throwing it more.
No doubt about it right there. And Drew Patterson, real quick, to answer your question, yeah, he throws them up under the docks, under the pontoons, under wherever he can do it. So, yeah, he is skipping that booger right up under there. So, all right, real quick, and if you need to get a refill, Wyatt, now's a good time or whatever. You guys listen. Yeah, I think we've caught up with all the questions. So, yeah, we're good to go right there. So, tonight's question, winner gets a Spro Rat. All right, this is a gray ghost. It is the smaller one. All right, smaller one. It comes with a little pink tail. So if you guys are interested in throwing it does sink. It says it sinks, but it's a very slow sink. So I think as long as you keep reeling it, you're basically using it like a wake bait or something. I personally have never thrown one. I have one over here that I am going to throw, but I'm going to give you guys this one right there. So we appreciate our partners over at Spro. How many answers to the question tonight, Kevin?
2.
And it's not going to be like what those guys on Tuesday night were making fun of you about, right?
I answered that question. You saw it, didn't you?
Wyatt, did you watch Tuesday night?
I did a little bit, but I got tired. I had to go to bed.
Some guy in the comment section asked where the old guy was that asked all the crazy questions.
Like I answered that.
And
did
he
you see it?
What was Jimmy Houston's sperm count in 1985 or something like that? And you did come up with an answer, something like that. Like you did some math. I don't know how you figured it out, but you did. But this one's not like that tonight, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, so go ahead. How many answers again?
2 answers. It's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Every now and then I like to throw in a question about one of our bite club members of the live well. In what month and year did Clint Bartlett, aka Marathon Man, start working for Yamaha? I'll read it again. In what month and year did Clint Bartlett start working for Yamaha?
There you go. And Kim Pritz says you're right. Only two answers. It must be Christmas. So, all right. So Father Time's going to watch in the comment section for the right answer, and I'm going to continue our conversation with our guest Wyatt. Tracy Coker said Lanier. This is his son. Lanier tried that the rat a couple years ago. Got bit 3 out of 6 times he threw it. It's an interesting bait, and and listening to you when I asked you about that magic swimmer, I kind of in the back of my head was like, yeah, he may throw it, but he's talked all night about liking shallow. So I mean, you're a power fisherman. It seems like you like that shallow stuff. But have you ever thrown any of them? Not necessarily that one or any style rat bait, topwater bait like that. And if you have you had any success?
Yeah, first spotted bass I ever caught was on a rat. Back when I was like 14, but I have thrown it some. I have caught some fish on it. I tell you where it really works really good is Chatoog.
Chatoog?
Yes.
We got an answer already.
Who's that?
Andrew Theed.
Andrew Theed. There you go. May of 2024. Right there, May of 2024. Andrew, I don't know if I've got your address or not. Just hit me up on Facebook, just on a messenger. Send me your address. I've got about 30 prizes I've got to mail out. And so
it's Christmas.
It is Christmas. Like, guys, my ADHD or whatever the hell the doctor says I got, I'll package them up and they'll sit here. And then I'm like, I got to go to the post office, and I will in about a month. So it is coming. It is coming. Let's see, KP. Okay. Oh, okay. We're caught up. All right. So I'm still caught up on the frog and everything. But you just said rat on Chatoog. All right. Now listen, that's the last thing I would think of when somebody starts talking Chatoog, because we're always talking like Lanier patterns and all this. You got to tell me about that in a little bit. Rat on Chatoog.
Yeah. Last few times, the few times I've been up there, I've caught them, but they got to be. It's the best time to throw it is in October, September, when they're a lot of times you'll get a bunch of cruisers down. You can go down the bank and catch them, and I've done that at Lanier with it a few times up on the north end and the south end. But I don't know what it is, but you just if you can go down the bank and it'll probably work right now with this shad spawn and stuff like that. You can go down the bank and catch them just like you would on a Whopper Plopper if you get real close, because when a rat hits the water, it's just something different, And I mean, we bass, we eat rats. But yeah, Chatoog, I've had some luck on it at times in the past. We're just paralleling down a bank, and if it's got a little bit of rock on it, I've caught them doing it. You'll catch I've caught a 3.5 pound spot on it. I've caught a couple decent sized largemouths on it up there. But I mean, I don't know if it's something that I would throw all day, but you need to. I tell you, the pink one works really good. That's one I've thrown in the past, but I've also got a brown one. The pink one I lost. I got one that's brown, and it's got all kind of marks on it from when I was a kid, and I used to throw it in farm ponds and stuff.
I can imagine that thing would slay on a farm pond.
Oh man,
I can imagine. Yeah, you're right, Tracy Coker. The check is in the mail. That's just the way I am. Kevin and them know. I think Kevin, how long did it take me to order you a hat?
I'm still waiting on it.
I know, right? My bad. It'll get there. It's in the mail. All right, let me transition a little bit, because we're talking north end of the lake. All right. And there's a lot of guys that don't ever go up the north end. They don't like the river or not familiar with it. They fish mid lake or south. And again, guys, we're talking about Lake Lanier, but I imagine some of this stuff he's talking about is going to work on Notley, Chatoog, probably Allatoona as well. Let's just say we start working in there and we want to actually try to target largemouth mid lake south end. We know they're there. I know a lot of guys are catching them out, being pelagic with the spots now. We got a school of bass, a largemouth that are doing that, but there's still big girls laying around. Would you go after them the same way, or is it a little bit different since we're down there in that clear water?
Yeah, I mean, you can catch them in some of those same areas, but I tell you what, I've caught a lot of largemouth down there over 80 foot of water throwing a walking bait
Mm-hmm.
while fishing for spots. My girlfriend's son, he actually, I'm trying to think if he caught it. No, I think I caught it. I had him hold it, but we and him one day were right there, kind of middle of the lake. And this was back in late March, early April. And we caught 2 largemouths. We wasn't close to the bank, and they were both over 5 pounds. And we had found bait pushed up kind of on a bluff or through a bluff, and we were catching them on a walking bait and a Whopper Plopper and Pop-R.
And a Pop-R. Ain't that something?
Never,
I know those big
well,
ones.
I've never seen a 5-year-old that can throw a Pop-R as good as he can. But we went to Hartwell back in April, and me and him finished third in a tournament, and he caught half the fish on a Pop-R.
Really?
Yes, and
Listen,
yeah,
and a Whopper Plopper.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will say this about a Whopper Plopper. When we had the shop and somebody would come in with a kid, and I would always give them a Whopper Plopper because number one, it's easy to use,
Yes,
especially for a kid, and it's very visual.
it
And
is.
I would tell the parent, like, listen, when they get hit on that, there's no guessing work. I mean, they're going to know. So I get that. Now, Diaz wants to know. First, let me hit this, Diaz. I'm sorry. Zach's going to the trophy lake at Rocky Mountain tomorrow. Any advice? I've never fished a trophy lake. I fished the other lake. If there's a couple of guys in the chat that I know are really, really good on Rocky. So
I've heard of A-Rig works good on that lake year round.
it does. A-Rig's one good one. Now, remember when I said that those boys termed that phrase in the dirt, earlier in the show? That was the day on Rocky that, and Tim, if you're in the chat, let me know this exactly. But I know their best 5 was like 37 over there on Rocky, and they were catching them like dirt shallow. That's why they were like, it's in the dirt and all that. So it was hilarious to watch that episode. But yeah, I mean, A-Rig's the thing a lot of guys throw. I don't know about the trophy lake. So hopefully somebody can help you out in the chat with that one, Zach. Diaz wants to know, you ever use one of these koikis?
I bought 2.
Yeah.
I haven't caught one yet.
Yeah.
I've had fish look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I very rarely have my live scope turned on.
Right.
I will say this: it does work. I've got some friends of mine that throw it on some of these only lakes, and they catch them. I mean, they catch them really good. And there's a couple places down close to where my girlfriend lives that they would probably work pretty good down there because they've never seen it. And I'm going to take it with me when I go down there. But I just, and I take that back. Me personally hasn't caught anything, but my mom's boyfriend went with me a while back, and he brought some little dice baits with him.
Mm-hmm.
He wore me out one day on it. I think he caught 3, but they were 4.5, 5 pounders.
Was that on Lanier?
Yes.
Was that largemouth or spots? Yeah.
Yeah. Drop shot.
Drop shot it. There you go. What's up, Doug Rice? He is late to the party, but we're glad you're here. Tracy Coker says they look at it and laugh, for sure. Ken Pruitt says, love Danny's sales pitch at the shop. Please buy those Whopper Ploppers. I'm tired of looking at them. If you buy one, you get the rest 50% off. That was them Hellraisers. That was them daggum Z-Man Hellraisers. I couldn't give them things away, but I tried. I absolutely tried.
Guys,
do you like them? Have you ever thrown one of them?
I haven't personally thrown one, but there's Sinclair. There was a couple tournaments down there that I knew was that people had won on it back in October, September of last year when I was going down. I like to stop at the Chevron station on down before I get to my girlfriend's. And of course, I didn't fish a lot during this past winter because I had a knee injury and stuff. But talking to him, he said that they like to throw it down there a lot.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, Tyler Shellnut. Somebody said Koiki. His ears perked up. I knew they would. Soccer Holden. Hey, appreciate you joining us tonight. He goes, I like to kayak fish at Don Carter because it is usually quiet. Is that area safe for a boat given the low water levels? He's scared to take my new tracker there, but really wants to. And you mentioned something like that earlier in the show.
Yeah, I'd wait till this rain fills it up. There's if you go up here right now, don't let down on the motor unless you've got a check ready.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
and that goes for both rivers. But yeah, I would wait for a little bit until it fills up. But when it does fill up, I'm gonna say this, and this goes back with the frog. There's some good places up there to throw the frog. Some really good places up there to throw.
There's gonna be a lot of guys like, I'm gonna figure that river out. Let's see. Yeah, Tracy Coker loves that Hellraiser. He goes, I'm telling you, they work. He's the only person I've ever heard say they work, though. Yeah, I couldn't get rid of the slobber knockers either. I tried. And then James says, the Hellraiser should be a phenomenal bait. I wonder why they're not. I can't tell you. Zach bought a Hellraiser, used it once. It went in the drawer after that and hasn't been used since. It's just so different looking. And I think you got to commit to it and all that.
You got to put a lot of time. That's like the Whopper Plopper. I mean, when you pick it up, I mean, you need to just give it some time. And if you give it, and it's just like anything else. You know, I was in high school. I never threw a jig because I didn't have the patience to drag it and, never caught anything on it. But then I went to Oconee one day and wore them out. And I'm tell you what, every time I go to the lake, I got a jig tied on.
Yeah.
Very effectively.
Absolutely. Kevin, now a lot of, you're welcome, Soccer Holden. A lot of people ask me this. They're like, Kevin sits there and he's quiet sometimes and all that. I'm like, no, Kevin is listening and taking mental notes in his head. He does it all the time.
So I'm writing them down too.
He does. I mean, I know he does. Like, he pays attention probably more than any of you guys do. But Kevin, you're hearing all this. I just want to know what's catching your mind with all these things that he's saying, and something you might be curious about.
Curious, but a lot of it relates to the Florida fishing. When he's talking about grass, although we didn't throw a lot of jigs down there, we threw creature baits with, a half ounce to an ounce weight on there to get them to that grass. We didn't have frogs at the time. We had the old sluggos back then, which is really a fluke type bait. So yeah, it just reminds me of the old times back in Florida. And then again, he was talking about the rat up there at Chattooga, and that's a pretty clear lake. But I think Bobby Murray won the first Bassmaster Classic on Lake Mead throwing a water dog, which is a top water, and Lake Mead is crystal clear. So you can't rule things out because you think it's too bright or too big.
Well, and see,
you got to go with instinct.
I was watching YouTube, the dream catcher guy that fishes all them lakes up there. I would watch him throwing the rat on Burton. So then I thought about taking, when I went to Chattooga, I tried it up there and I got bit. So, I mean, I don't know what it is, but I think some of those largemouths up there, I don't know. Of course, I didn't ask this when I was working for DNR, but to me, those largemouths up there in those mountain lakes are more aggressive than what we've got here.
Okay.
They're very, very aggressive.
Okay, there you go. That's good to know. The Hellraiser looks like it was designed by a meth head. Now listen, those guys is meth. It's like, hey, let's just throw this to this and this to this and see what the hell we got, right? This, War Eagle, I apologize for not asking this question because it did cross my mind earlier. What size of the Chopo do you throw the most? What is it, 110 or 125?
Yeah, I think this is the one. Yeah, the 110.
110. That's about the one most people throw.
Yeah, mostly throw. Yeah, I don't. A lot of guys will throw the smaller one sometimes. Like the little chopper or the Chopo or whatever it's called. But I've just seemed to have more success on this. A lot of guys have got the bigger, the bigger ones. A guy used to go with me all the time that threw the big one when he would fish for spots. But I've caught more spots on this one than I have the big one.
Yeah, there you go. You ever run into any striper up the river?
All the time.
Any size? I mean, you get into some big ones up there?
Yeah, I caught a 31-pounder on crankbait up the river about 3 or 4 years ago, and I didn't know. Well, I knew what I had on, but it was hilarious when I caught it. But,
I was getting ready to ask you, how long did it take before you figured out this ain't a bass?
Pretty quick, because when he hit it, he about took the rod out of my hand.
Yeah, that's.
And, it was in November, so that's prime time when they're up there. But I saw them on the graph and I cast it back, and I kind of knew it was stripers. But it was a big striper. It was the biggest one I've ever caught.
Hey, look, a 30-pound striper ain't no joke, especially in a little bit of current. Absolutely. King of Bass. We talked about Sinclair earlier. That he hasn't fished Sinclair. So really, we would not be the one to give you.
I fished it a little bit. I know a few things down there. I've had
Oh,
days down there. Yeah.
it's been a while then since you fished. Is
Yeah.
that what
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I like throwing a crankbait down there. Really like throwing a crankbait. But let me tell you something about Sinclair. Sinclair's got a lot of hydro in it. And I know a lot of Alabama guys talk about stroking a jig. You can do the same thing at Sinclair.
There you go. So hopefully that will help you right there. Adam W. Fishing says you were talking about bluegill beds earlier. Have you thrown a prop bait up the river?
I have not. I know a guy that does, and he's had some success. I do like throwing a weight bait at times over brim bed. I've got a couple different types of wake baits that a buddy of mine's thrown, but those have worked fairly good. But most of the time when it comes to brim beds, I'm either going to have a Whopper Plopper or I'm going to have a Pop-R, or most of the time, and a lot of guys don't throw it around docks, but I like to throw a little walking bait around docks.
Is that a spook? Or
Yeah.
what is that?
Yeah, spook. Yeah, Sexy Dog. It's that Strike King.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that right there in the back of pockets around them docks up there, I've caught a lot of fish on that too.
Let me ask you something. Why do you think when we talk topwater now, and I know Tracy Coker right there wrote a book about how to fish the Hellraiser in there. So if you guys want to read it, you can read it right there. But when, we talk about baits coming in and out of style, right? But some baits never stop catching fish, like spook or those kind of baits. But we don't talk about them as much anymore. And it's a riser, or it's this. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can go anywhere in the country and throw a spook and still catch fish.
Oh, caught him at Oconee yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting, guys. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the in style bait.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just because forward facing sonar and all these other baits have just kind of taken over, with it being that, which I get it, but the biggest thing, and I've kind of used it up the river, is don't get away from what you were taught when you were a kid. Those things work. They still work. You just have to be patient.
Well, let me ask you, how much do you actually utilize your forward facing up there if you ever go up the river?
I do at times in the summertime, but most of the time it's turned off because I know what it can do to the fish.
Well, let me ask you, what do you think it does?
It sends off a pinging noise, and I think they've gotten used to it. I was going down this bank one day up there, and they were there. I seen them. You can shine a live scope and see them sitting up under a dock or see them sitting there, and I couldn't catch them. I went down, came back, turned it off, and I caught 5 coming back up that same bank.
Danny, you think they don't fish topwater as much as they used to because a lot of people think it's a small window?
Well,
I don't think people fish it enough.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's a small window that you get to fish it, and then you're done.
That's it. Well, a lot of people think you should start throwing it in May when you should be throwing it in March.
Yeah, I think on Lanier's a little bit different with the spots. People can't wait to throw topwater.
Yeah.
So I think on Lanier, they would throw topwater 12 months out of the year if they could.
Oh yeah.
On other lakes, I think you might be right that they think it's a certain time of year. I agree with you on that. I do. I think Lanier, though, and in fact, let me ask you this, because we've talked about it on the show the last couple of years. I've heard guys talk about the topwater bite on Lanier not being what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Or it's not as aggressive, not as explosive. Are you seeing any of that? And if you are, or if you are not, do you think it's because you're up north a little bit more?
Well, I'll say this: it hadn't been as good where a lot of guys like to fish for spots. Because I went to Hartwell in April, and in 2 days I caught 50 fish both days on topwater. And I came back to Lanier and couldn't get a bite on it. Maybe get one then and there, but then go up and throw it in places that maybe people don't like fishing, in between docks and stuff like that, and catch them. Maybe those fish don't see it as much, but I was doing the same thing at Hartwell and came back, and I couldn't hardly have the same success. And I think it's just because there is a bass boat on that lake every day on the same spot, or I mean, it is pressured, and it's gotten worse. I've seen it getting worse in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that makes sense right there because you are right. Somebody's on it all the time. Clayton Belmont says the War Eagle spinnerbait, white and chartreuse, or a spot choker jackhammer on Sinclair. He was giving that out there. What's up, Tom? And Tim Wyatt says this, and this is true too. From the time I got out of big lake fishing to now, he fishes electric only with us. The Sammy definitely died. No one throws them anymore. I remember when a Sammy came out, and like everybody had a Sammy, and they caught fish. They still catch fish.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. Nobody talks about them. Wake baits are prime right now, Robert, my buddy up in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I can see that. And I wonder how far behind he is. And Robert, I say this, like because of the weather, how far behind Pennsylvania fishing is to us down here at the South as far as like spawn when your topwater kicks. Like, tell me when the spawn normally is up there in Pennsylvania. I'm just curious. Eddie Hudson says the hula popper still catches fish and a good topwater bait. What is that one you like to throw, Kevin?
Jitterbug.
Jitterbug. Yeah, old school. Tyler says the topwater is the best bite on Lanier for sure. But yeah, I mean, I don't think we talk about though the topwater that Wyatt's talking about near enough because if let's just take a standard show we do here, topwater, EPOP or something of that similar, chrome, blue bag, your risers, and we consider flukes and all that in there as well. But nobody talks about throwing the frogs. Buzz baits don't get near enough love on Lanier as it should, I think. It just seems like you're talking a little bit different. Maybe that's why you're catching them.
Yeah, and I just text Ryan Sheffield. I'm going to start throwing his. A lot of people call the clothesline or whatever. But yeah, I've seen that and talked to some guys that say that's pretty good. Which I've thrown a knockoff brand and caught some fish on it. But now the single blade, I couldn't tell you the last time I got bit on a single blade.
Yeah, I use the accent, the B2B or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
They get bit. You just can't keep. I mean, 2 fish max.
The biggest thing with the Whopper Plopper, and I think a lot of these baits throwing is weather. I mean, you got to have really good weather, but I'll put it to you with the Whopper Plopper. If it's calm, I don't throw it.
Okay, fair enough. Guys, are y'all getting any feedback on y'all side? It seems like I'm hearing feedback on me when I talk. Are you guys hearing it on your side? No. You hearing it, Wyatt? Like me twice?
I hear you fine.
Okay, all right. It might just be my headphones. I feel like I'm talking twice. Amos Moses says, I like that name, Amos Moses. The Sammy and the Pointer 110 used to be my go-to on Lanier. Yeah, that makes sense. Robert says up in Pennsylvania, a month behind because of colder water temps. It's happening, but slower this year. And raining the last few days dropped the temps for sure. How about like the weather? All this stuff that you're talking about. When you go up the river and you're hunting largemouth, let's say it's a rainy day. Look at you smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me some juice. I bet you do, but does it change your approach?
Well, if it's the wind's blowing, of course, there's 3 baits I'm going to throw. I'm going to throw a crankbait. I'm going to throw a Whopper Plopper. And that goes along with the rain. But now, if it's a rain and it's calm, of course, I'm probably going to throw topwater all day. Is what I'm probably going to have in my hand, or some kind of walking bait, or the Whopper Plopper, and even a frog. They like a frog when it's raining.
Okay. Did we talk about color of frogs?
Yeah, no. I like throwing white or some kind of gray or black. I do like throwing black at times, but the one I've got tied on right now is one I've had tied on for about a year, and I'm not taking it off until I lose it. And it's kind of white and gray.
Okay. What about your buzz bait? You a white or white and black guy, or what do you like the
black? Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because I like throwing a black buzz bait for no particular reason other than I know it catches fish. Is there a reason why you throw it?
No, I don't know. Not really. I just, my grandfather used to tell me all the time. He said, if you don't go to the lake without a black trick worm or a black buzz bait, then you're empty-handed, and that was back in the day. That's what he said guys used to catch them on back in the day, which I'm gonna tell you what, I got my butt handed to me one time from the back of the boat with a black trickworm up the river about 2 years ago.
Yeah, that makes sense. Tyler says sometime this summer he wants to go to the Coosa, throw a buzz bait and a swim jig in some grass. I'll tell you, a lot of guys throw buzz bait on these rivers around here. And the Etowah is full of some good spots that they slam them on. And a Whopper Plopper, just for you Whopper Plopper guys.
Well, you know, the Oconee runs down through Dublin, which is where my girlfriend lives, and those guys down there throw buzz baits on that river all the time.
And we're going to talk about a couple of them lakes here in a second. Do you fish the north end of Hartwell? And if so, what would you recommend for the next few weeks?
I would try to find some kind of bluegill spawn, or try to find the gizzard shad somewhere spawning, you know, in certain places. You know, like I said, if you get there early in the morning right now, if you can find them, it looks like they're trying to jump out of the water up on the bank. And if you see that, there's fish there.
When do you think the gizzard shad spawn starts normally?
Into April, and it depends on the weather. Like right now, we've had a lot of cool weather.
Yeah,
I've seen it last all the way to 4th of July.
And you mentioned earlier that gizzard that got spit out was 8 inches. I mean, that's the one thing about gizzard shad. They get big.
Well, and seeing right after that, I picked up that glide bait right there and caught a 4.5 pounder the next cast. So I that's what they were eating that day.
That makes sense. Tim Wyatt says your grandpa was a smart man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned your girlfriend, and you talked about this a little bit before the show. Your girlfriend lives in Dublin, and there's a lot of great PFAs down that way, kind of like Rocky Mountain up here.
Yes.
We don't talk about them a lot. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so you've got Old Mogi PFA, you've got Hugh Gillis, and then you've got Doc. And DNR apparently has been stocking a lot of those lakes down there with the Florida strain. And Old Mogi has got a very high amount of gizzard shad in there and bluegill to feed them. But on a good day there, you'll go there, you might catch only 2 or 3, but they're going to be 5 pounds or bigger. It's a very hard place to fish, but you can catch some very big. It's got a lot of standing timber in it, got a lot of grass, but you can do well. There's the Whopper Plopper bite down there too is very good.
I'm gonna have to break down and throw one of them things.
Yeah.
How about this? Okay, interesting question here. I'm gonna let you answer this one. Soccer Holden said he's never thrown a buzzbait. What brand, what size is good for Lanier, and on what setup?
Well, as far as I know, I think that double blade is probably going to be your best option. I would try to get in touch with Ryan Sheffield.
Yeah.
You know, for years, the buzz bait that I was throwing was Strike King, you know, that had the toad on the back of it. You know, I like throwing the toad and the frog, whatever, the black one. But I don't know. I mean, the one I always liked to throw was the smaller one. I don't like to throw the big one. And I always like to have a clacker on it. You know, the clacker make a little bit better noise. Like I said, you know, I haven't been able to get bit on that single blade in a long time. I don't know why. You know, maybe that's probably the reason why I've been throwing Whopper Plopper more here lately.
What would you throw your buzzbait on?
Same thing. I throw it on a 7-foot medium heavy. Throw it on probably throw it on 15-pound mono. That's what I was throwing on.
That sounds about right. How about okay, Robert says Strike King White Toad Trailer. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Bottom Line Outdoors says insect hatching. What baits would you use?
Pop-R. Mayfly hatch.
Yep.
If this water continues to come up here if we continue to get some more rain, which I'm kind of hoping we do, because what's going to happen, and I've seen this happen before, these fish that have backed off will actually go back up because they're going to eat on what's coming in. And I've seen a mayfly hatch up there up the river, and it can it can be really good. I've actually, what's funny is I've seen a guy up there fly fishing and catching them.
That makes sense. Now Ryan Sheffield shows up. He goes, "My ears are burning." Heard my name. Ryan, in the comments section, could you put how to get in touch with you so that somebody can order one of those buzz baits from you?
Yeah.
That would be a good thing. Oh, okay. Here we go. Speaking of gizzards, Danny, I heard from a reputable source that they snagged but lost a big gizzard last week at Latham. So, have you ever fished in electric only lakes around here?
I fished hard labor, and of course, not up in this area.
Okay.
I work for DNR, but I work in the parks and historical sites, and Fort Yargo is where I'm at. Now Fort Yargo, I've fished it. It's pretty good.
It's got some big ones.
Yeah.
Latham is basically a little Lake Lanier over here. It's right in my front yard, but it's got they put threadfin in it. It's got bluegill and all that, but the people dump bluebacks in it, and the bluebacks have taken over. But that would be the first I have heard of anybody seeing, let alone snagging a gizzard. So interesting.
It won't surprise me for long. We're going to see bluebacks in a lot of these electric on the lake. Unfortunately, there's some in Yargo already.
Somebody's put bluebacks in Yargo. Really?
Yeah, and there's spots in there too. 4-pound spot got caught out of there a couple weeks ago.
I didn't know it had spots. I knew it had some good largemouth.
Oh yeah, that place.
Yeah,
that place is very hard, but they're in there.
Let me ask you this: you said unfortunately. You said electric only lakes getting blueback herring, and unfortunately, what did you mean by that?
I just, look at Varner, for example. Varner was really good back in the day. Now, Varner, the reason why it was bad is because they put the grass carp in there and they ate all the hydrilla. But I'm afraid if we continue to see that, then the largemouth, maybe the largemouth will adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, the herring will eat your eggs up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think, a lot of people think that's what happened to largemouth in Lanier. But there's a bigger population of largemouth in Lake Lanier than people realize. And I think it's gotten better within maybe just because I'm fishing for them more than a lot of other guys do. But Dana Smith fishes for them all the time. He catches them.
Mm-hmm.
Him fish around each other a lot. A lot of times I'll be fishing one side of the bank. He'll be fishing the other.
I like Dana. Tim Wyatt says there's spots in hard labor now.
Yes.
Interesting right there.
Yeah.
How do you stroke a jig?
Rip it as hard as you can, but I like stroking a Texas rig too. And what's funny is I learned that technique about a year and a half so, but I actually went with a guy not too long ago, and we were on Sinclair together, and he was doing it. And I'm actually going to try to get up and go with him to Guntersville because he fishes Guntersville all the time, and he does it a lot. But throw it in the grass. It needs to be, submerged. You can do it also in grass laying on top, but let it fall through and just rip as hard as you can, You
do
that with the spinnerbait at night too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. If you were going to Oconee this weekend, what would you look for?
I've been looking for the grass. That's where they were at the other day. Hydrilla, or not hydrilla, which there is. It's funny. I did reel in some hydrilla the other day on my hook in Oconee, so it'll be there before we know it. But maiden cane or water willow, that's what I would be looking for. And when there's a lot of it on the south end, there was a big shad spawn going on in it the other day, and I was catching them pitching and also working a spinnerbait down the side of it and a walking bait.
Okay, there you go. Tyler Shonut does know how to catch some Lanier mega largemouth. I think he caught a 7+ a couple weeks ago. I can't believe you guys can't hear what I'm hearing in my head. I hear myself saying like 5 different things all together. Still sounds good on y'all side?
Yes.
Must be my headphones. I don't know. driving me crazy right here. The largemouth on Lanier have been overshadowed by the spots. Just means more unmolested water for shallow water guys. And yeah, I agree with that, Farmer. What is it like? Let me ask you this about boat traffic where you fish. Do you get as many jet skis and things like that up there?
Oh yeah, I mean there was the other day wasn't so bad because of the weather, but yeah, I mean here in the next few weeks, you know, you need to be off the water by 11 o'clock, maybe,
Okay.
especially when we get into June and stuff like that. Which when we get in that month, I fish at night. I don't. I mean, or if I go during the day, I'm either putting in at 4:30 and I'm off by 11.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, some of these guys are hearing it. They're hearing feedback now on that. I don't know if it's one of their volumes or something. Y'all got your volume up? Kevin, you got your volume up?
No, it's about a third of the way up.
So I don't know what it is. All of a sudden I'm hearing it. Everybody's starting to hear it now. I don't know what, let me try something. Oh, I don't know if that's going to help or not. You're on a grass lake. Do you ever use a speed worm?
Yeah, not really. I mean, I've thrown it at times, but not really. I mean, if I'm fishing a grass lake, I'm either gonna have a chatterbait or I'm gonna have a spinnerbait. You know, that's mainly where I'm gonna drop something through the grass, which is like a creature bait.
Gotcha. All right, looks like everybody's starting to hear it because it's getting worse and worse. So, I tell you what, we'll probably just.
I'm
now
hearing
you're
it now too, Danny.
Yeah, not sure why it's happening, but I know that's got to be annoying to listen to. So we'll probably just call it a night because that's gonna drive me crazy too, like that. So, Wyatt, I appreciate you coming on.
No problem, man. I enjoy it.
And maybe I can get you back on here like later on in the
Yes.
later on in the summer as the patterns change a little bit. I'd love to talk to you about it a little bit more. So hate that it's starting to do that. I don't know why it is. I hear it over here. Like I can hear myself talking like 32 times in my head. So I apologize for those of you out there listening. I don't know why it's doing that all of a sudden. So yeah, everybody's hearing it now. Equipment upgrade time. Ryan, give me some money. So we'll do that. But anyway, hey, listen, Wyatt, thank you very much. Again, a lot of good juice you dropped tonight. So definitely, I appreciate it more than you know. And of course, Father Time, you being just here. Always good when you're here and I see you like that. I mean, seriously, I know he's taking notes and everything. So, guys, we're going to end it just a little bit early because of the equipment and all that. But hey, if you're on the water this weekend, be careful, number one. Okay. Be careful. We want to see you guys back next week. And I'm hoping next Tuesday night, I have got the biologist that covers Lake Allatoona for you guys. So we can talk about those smallmouth and all that. So with that, we're going to end the show. And you guys.